everyone, I'm Mariam and today we're going to learn how to change verbs into their ed and ing forms. We often use verbs in these forms to convey the tense, to form participles and even use them as adjectives. For most verbs, we simply add ed and ing to their base form. But there are some other verbs where we have to make some changes to their base form before we can add ed and ing. In this video, I'm going to take you through all the rules to correctly change verbs into their ed and ing forms. We add ed to regular verbs to form their past tense, past participles and even use them as adjectives. Now remember, we are only talking about regular verbs here because irregular verbs have past tense forms that don't end with ed. So in this video, we are only talking about regular verbs. For most regular verbs, we simply add ed to the base form of the verb. So cook becomes cooked, rain becomes rained, play becomes played. We don't make any changes to the base form, we simply add ed at the end. For verbs that end with an e, we add a d in the end. So bake becomes baked, live becomes lived, move becomes moved. Because they already end with e, we just add a d at the end. For verbs ending with y, if there is a consonant before y, then we drop the y, add an I and then add ed. Now I know some of you may already know what a consonant and vowel is, but for those of you who don't, the English alphabet is made of consonants and vowels. There are 5 vowels in the English alphabet: A, E, I, O, U. All the other letters are consonants. The difference between them is that vowels are free-flowing sounds like a, e, u. The breath flows freely. Consonants, on the other hand, parts of our mouth have to touch or almost touch and release to create the sound. So b, b, d, where my teeth or my tongue or my lips have to touch or almost touch and release to make the sound. Coming back to our verbs ending with y, if the y is preceded by a consonant, then we have to drop the y and add ied. So dry becomes dried. Because y is preceded by r, which is a consonant, I drop the y and add ied. Study becomes studied, reply becomes replied. Because in all these cases, there is a consonant before y. So I drop the y and add ied. Now, if there is a verb that ends with y, but there is a vowel before the y, we don't make any changes. We simply add ed. So enjoy becomes enjoyed. Obey becomes obeyed. Pray becomes prayed. We didn't make any changes. We simply add ed at the end. Now this rule is a little bit more complicated, so please stay with me. If there is a monosyllabic word that ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, then we double the last consonant. What does this mean? So a monosyllabic word is a word with one syllable. What is a syllable? Every English word is made of one or more syllables and each syllable has one vowel sound. So a monosyllabic word means a one-syllable word that has one vowel sound. For example, clip, drag, shop. All these words are one-syllable words because they have one vowel sound. And they all end with a combination of consonant, vowel, consonant. So clip, P is a consonant, I is a vowel, L is a consonant. Same with drag, same with shop. So in these cases, we double the last consonant. So with clip, we will double P and then add ed. So clip becomes clipped, drag becomes dragged, shop becomes shopped. If a word has more than one syllable and it ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, and there is a stress on the final syllable, then we double the last consonant. For example, prefer, admit. So both of these have a stress on the final syllable, which is why we will double the last consonant and then add ed. So admit becomes admitted. Prefer becomes preferred. We have doubled the last consonant and then added an ed. Now, if a verb has more than one syllable and it ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, but the stress is not on the final syllable, then we do not double the last consonant. For example, visit, deliver. So here, even though these have more than one syllable and they end with consonant, vowel, consonant, the stress is not on the final syllable. So in this case, we just simply add ed without doubling the last consonant. So visit becomes visited, deliver becomes delivered. I know this seems difficult, which is why if you're unsure of which syllable to stress, you can listen to the pronunciation of the word, or you can go to a dictionary and check the phonetic script of the word. So here I have the phonetic script for visit and admit. As you can see, both of them have an apostrophe-like symbol on top. So this symbol indicates which syllable is to be stressed. The syllable after the symbol is the one that has to be stressed. So in visit, it's the first syllable that's being stressed. With admit, it's the second syllable that's being stressed. There is another exception to the consonant, vowel, consonant rule, that is of verbs that end with W, X and Y. So even if the verb ends with a consonant, vowel, consonant, if the final consonant is W, X or Y, we do not double the final consonant. So wax is waxed, mow is mowed, sway is swayed. We do not double the final consonant here. Now let's see how to make ing forms. We usually add ing to verbs to make their present participle, which we use in a lot of continuous tenses and can also function as adjectives, and to make gerunds, which basically act as nouns. Again, for most verbs, we just add ing to their base forms. So sing becomes singing, look becomes looking, wash becomes washing. So we simply add ing to their base forms. If a verb ends with e, we remove the e and add ing. So make becomes making, drive becomes driving, skate becomes skating. All three of them we've removed the e and added ing. If a verb ends with ie, we remove the ie and add ying. So lie becomes lying, die becomes dying, tie becomes tying. So all three of them we have removed the ie and added ying. Now just as we saw with ed, if there is a one syllable word that ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, we double the last consonant. Nap becomes napping, swim becomes swimming, plot becomes plotting. All of them are one syllable words and they end with consonant, vowel, consonant. So we double the final consonant and then add ing. Again, if a word has more than one syllable and it ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, and the stress is on the final syllable, we double the last consonant. So commit becomes committing, upset becomes upsetting, control becomes controlling. So because the stress is on the final syllable, we have doubled all the last consonants. We have the same exception here, even if it's a word with more than one syllable which ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, but the stress is not on the final syllable, then we don't double the last consonant. Listen becomes listening, exit becomes exiting, answer becomes answering. So here the stress is not on the final syllable, so we just simply add ing to the base form of the verb. We have the same exception as we did with ed. If a verb ends with w, x, y, even if it ends with consonant, vowel, consonant, we do not double the final consonant. Lay becomes laying, tax becomes taxing, glow becomes glowing. We do not double the final consonant. We just add ing to the base form of the verb. I hope this video has helped you understand how to correctly change verbs into their ed and ing forms. I know this is a lot to remember, but it will get easier the more you practice. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's English, not Everest. All the best.